Sagittarius, welcome and welcome back to Heretic Owl Tarot. If you can hear my dog chewing on his bone in the background, I apologize. Anyway, like probably the only person who's distracting is probably me. So I hope that you're doing well. I hope that May has treated you well. Happy Pride Month, and we're talking about June. And if you haven't done so already, I started a new series of messages by Human Design Profile. If you know your profile, then you can just head to the corresponding video, or I put a link in each one, like the descriptions of each one, so you can get your profile. I love human design. I'm absolutely obsessed. The reason why I chose the profile is because the profile is actually what got me hooked onto human design. There are, of course, other aspects that are just as important, and everything, you know, kind of works in tandem. So anyway, yeah, I just, you know, it's another way of receiving messages outside of the typical zodiac reads. So, I am more than likely going to do those in place of mid-month readings. So, FYI. So, let's get on with it. We're talking about June. I'm just going to probably do like a 6-card spread. I know we did 9 cards last month. I have the room, but I don't think that I would be able to fit 6 cards into the frame. So, a couple more shuffles here. That feels good. Let's see. We have the 8 of materials, putting in work. Ace of inspiration, or the Ace of wands, the Emperor. Knight of materials, or the Knight of pentacles, temperance, there you are, showing up right in the middle. And then 7 of emotions, or the 7 of cups. And then we have the Queen of inspiration, or the Queen of wands, at the bottom of the deck. And let me make sure everything is straight. Okay, great. So of course, as we do, we'll just go through each card. So like I said, we start with the 8 of materials, or the 8 of pentacles. And that talks about work. What are you spending, you know, it's the thing that you are spending your time and energy doing. I also, you know, I mean, it's interesting how, you know, it almost looks like she's juggling, but also these roses look like they're kind of like yo-yos. I don't know if you can kind of see that. But there's clearly more than one thing going on here. So you could maybe feel like you're juggling a lot of different responsibilities. Maybe there's a second stream of income coming in, or maybe you're looking for a second stream of income. This also is, you know, like that practice makes perfect card. So, you know, it's kind of that like repetition thing where, you know, the more that you do it, the better you get at it. So it's also understanding that, you know, you do actually have to kind of focus your energy into something in order to get good at it. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles behind there. So behind there, underneath, whatever. So it's interesting because, I mean, you know, the Knight of Pentacles talks about determination and commitment. It's also kind of, you know, like understanding that, same with the 8 of material, like things take time. The Knight of Pentacles is generally a little bit slower moving, because in the 3D world, You know, it takes time for things to manifest, or it takes time to perfect something, or it takes time to practice a thing in order to get good at it, right? But the Knight of Materials is saying that, you know, like there is this commitment to doing that and this determination to head in that direction. I also love how both of these cards have a rose at the headspace. It's interesting. I mean, you could be having like a crown chakra opening. Or even blossoming, right? Like, since these are flowers. Maybe there's just kind of some sort of shift that's maybe even happening with that. I also love how, like, in both of these cards, there's, is it the chicks and hens, that the succulent? I have this like random spot in my backyard. It's this little corner that's probably like the size of this spread, and it's full of chicks and hens. And I never touch it. I never do anything with it. And it is just, it's flourishing. It's like my favorite spot in my whole backyard. And it's just off in its little corner. So we have the Ace of Inspiration here, or the Ace of Wands. So this is, you know, like the spark of a new passion. New inspiration, you know, like it's the card of desire also. There could be some new information coming into you. You could be deciding to take a new action towards something. Again, I love how, you know, like there's this kind of focus and this emphasis on the head space. This feels a little bit more also like, you know, it's kind of bringing in the third eye for me. Just kind of where this is coming from. But, you know, we have the colors here of the heart, the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus. So maybe it's even just kind of like gelling all of those energies together to kind of even form this new desire or this new passion, or maybe that's even where it's coming from. You know, the root is very grounding, but the root may want you to like start moving towards something. Like you might just kind of start feeling a little pressure to actually move towards doing something. Sacral, I believe, is creativity. I'm looking at, yeah, creativity. What is the... solar plexus, I think that one is self-esteem, self-love, which is also the heart. So very cool. You know, like those things could just be coming together. And then Temperance. That is the card of Sagittarius. So I absolutely am obsessed that you show up in the middle of your own reading, like in the middle of your own shit, right? Beautiful. And Temperance talks about patience, alchemy, right? Because really the patience part, okay, so I always think about chocolate. And if the Temperance card has ever come up in your reading, this is the same analogy that I always use. But when you temper chocolate, right? I mean, there are specific steps, specific temperatures, specific boiling point, whatever, right? Like all of the things, like there are specific steps that you have to do in order for chocolate to be properly tempered, for you to use it for whatever purpose you're using tempered chocolate for. And if you try to rush through any of those processes, or if you skip any of those steps, it could ruin the chocolate and you would literally have to start from scratch because there's no saving it, right? So temperance is saying, you know, there's these energies that are all working together, and there's this ask for patience so that those energies can all work together, come together, and, you know, do what they're going to do. And I love how it's paired up with the Ace of Inspiration, because this is saying that that alchemy process is literally beginning. It could have already begun in some sense, but this is like, it is actually, I mean, like shit is going to start moving forward. Like it's all actually coming together now, right? Because, and again, right, like we see this ribbon or this band, and just how there's the ombre effect here. They're just kind of easily transitioning into the next color. Very cool. And then the Emperor. The Emperor is a card of Aries. So there could be an Aries in your environment, doesn't have to be. But the Emperor talks about being an authority, right? Like the Emperor is all of the kings put together. So you have the energies of the wands, the cups, pentacles, who am I missing? Swords. You have the highest expression of all of those cards wrapped into the Emperor. So you can pull on those energies as you need it. But, you know, the Emperor is the authority in their field. It's also the divine masculine. So you could just be finding yourself being more in a quote unquote like masculine energy. It's not gender, but just the energy of, you know, like starting to initiate, like going after, you know, the thing, whatever this is, really starting to put your energy and your time into it. It could even be like prioritizing your time. You know, it's also interesting because we have this little energy wave going through, and it's like going through the headspace, which, you know, pairs up with some of the other stuff that we were talking about. But there's these other people that are down here. So it's like prioritizing yourself. And, you know, these people are even on like kind of a wavelength too. So maybe there's even some sort of like change with that. Like it could be if you are searching for a leadership type position, you know, like you could be getting a leadership type position. Your role in if you are like already in a leadership position, or even if you are looking for one, like it might just change a little bit, or maybe not even be what you originally thought it was going to be. That's interesting. I mean, it could even be, you know, just kind of managing, managing different people and just kind of making sure that they're all on the right track, or a track at that. Like we kind of have this person down here that's not even on this little wavelength. So like, where are you going? And, you know, I mean, that could be opening up possibilities. We have the 7 emotions here, or the 7 of cups, and that talks about possibilities. It also talks about not taking on too much. So again, you know, I mean, just kind of even be aware of that. If you are taking on more of a leadership type role, boundaries, right? We, you know, just make sure that you are voicing your boundaries. But, you know, it's kind of like either you know, like thinking about what your options would be, but it's also, so, you know, cups have to do, of course, with our emotions, right? So it's also maybe even deciding about how you feel about the thing. How do you feel about the options that are available? What are the ones that feel the best to you right now? So there's, you know, also, you know, like some decisions to be made. And then we have this Queen of Inspiration here, or the Queen of Wands. And I love that in the suit of Wands anyway, we go from the Ace to the Queen. And I see the Queens as being the embodiment of the energy. It's when you embody the energy, like you understand it, you're living it, you feel it, right? Wands have to do again with action, communication. I see them as being the information cards. I also love how, you know, there's this line coming out of her third eye. There's even, you know, these other lines that are coming out of her fingers. So it's like everything is in balance. All of the different energies are in balance. Because, I mean, she even looks relaxed, right? Content. It's almost like, you know, like allowing yourself to be guided to where you need to go, or where you're supposed to, quote unquote, go. So there's like this level of surrender that I feel in that card. So yeah, I mean, you know, like things seem to be moving forward. And honestly, I mean, all of these cards to me feel like summer also. Like for the most part, most of them are pretty bright. There is a lot of red. So again, I mean, like you might just be feeling that root chakra being like, okay, let's go. You know? And it's like, okay, but where do I even start? Like I have options here. Where do I even start? And you would want to start with the thing that you feel the best about, I think, anyway. Even if it's the thing that scares you the most. Like, don't let that be the reason why you don't do it. I know all about that. That's why I'm saying it, because that has definitely stopped me from doing a lot of things. So I am going to leave it there. Thank you so much for being here. I'll talk to you soon. Bye, Sagittarius.